Welcome again, everyone. Today I have in front of you our Meyer lemon tree here, a young Meyer lemon. You recently saw that we harvested the sugar baby watermelon, and it was for a great reason. We have a young tree here that was purchased in a 5-gallon container, and we noticed a lot of stress was going on with our Meyer lemon. One of the things that you all should know is that the Meyer lemon was cultivated by a guy named Dr. Meyer from Asia. And we all know that it's a cross between a mandarin and a lemon. However, all citrus is from Asia, but migrated to Europe. And from Europe, it took over and it's just now almost everywhere you could think of. But we noticed our tree was stressed out, and a young tree. When you go to your local nurseries, it is a funny thing that you will see there be fruit on it, on young trees that are in a 3-gallon, 5-gallon. Sometimes you will see even in a 1-gallon because they allow the flower to stay on there. Most times you will also see that the vendor will ship them there and they have fruit already on them, and that's because of they are feeding the tree fertilizer, causing it to flower and then give you fruit. We had a situation here where we had a sugar baby watermelon that's now in our compost. Okay, sugar baby watermelon that we just harvested. Now we got it in the compost here now, but we noticed that they were fighting for nutrients. And that's not what you want when you have a young tree as such that's growing in a container. Okay, when you grow in containers, you pot up, you should never ever allow that tree to fruit for its first year in that container. One of the things that you want to do is allow it to focus on its root system. The root system has to get strong so that it can give you more leaf structure, okay, and develop is a new branching as well, and also allow the bark of a tree to get fatter. So what are the things that we noticed that our tree was fighting for nutrients? Number 2 is location, and we had it over in another section of our garden. We are now in the western part of our garden, and it was in the northeast part of our garden at one point. And we noticed it was too much sun in that area, so now we have it here back in its original location where its first generation Meyer lemon we had was, and it loved this area. But we do have a shade cloth right now in the back of it because today is going to reach 106, and that's kind of dangerous for any type of fruit tree you have, especially this Meyer lemon, because it lost all its leaves because of stress. It did not lose its leaves because of overwatering. That's not the case, but it was stressed out because it was fighting for nutrients, okay, with the watermelon, and also the location. Now it is okay to grow if you're doing a permaculture style orchard or food forest. It's okay to grow fruit in the ground with your fruit trees and whatnot. But because we're growing in a container, it's a little bit different because we transplanted. Now, it is too okay to grow strawberries, in a container with your Meyer lemons or fruit trees. It's okay to grow flowers, right here and whatnot. But for our sake, we saw it needed some help, and it was dying. Okay, our tree was slowly dying. One of the things that you can do to help it recover, as you do see, we have new leaves here, okay, in between in these sections here. What we can do is give it some nutrients. What nutrients can we give it? Well, we can give it blood meal, all right, as a granular feed, or liquid if you kill a chicken and whatnot, and then you butcher it, or whatever kind of animal you butcher, you dilute it with water. You could do that. But if you're against the blood meal, you can also use a fish fertilizer, all right, which is also for nitrogen. You can give it that bi-weekly soil drench or foliar spray. You can also give it kelp meal, okay, granular kelp meal, which is part of seaweed. You can also give it that, scratch it into the soil and whatnot. Another liquid fertilizer you can give it is seaweed or seaweed kelp extract or fertilizer. Do the same thing with a soil drench bi-weekly or foliar spray. If it gets all of that, you can just give it compost or earthworm castings, every couple of months. When you grow in containers, you have to feed it every once a month. So a fertilizer, granule fertilizer, citrus fruit tone fertilizer, or bi-weekly fish fertilizer and compost. One of the things I love to do after we use our fruit, as such, making lemonade or a vinaigrette or a salt scrub with the zest of this lemon here, or lemon peel candy, or just freezing it and then let it thaw out and then use it later on. Another thing that we can do after we use our fruit here, I can dig a hole, put it in here, cover it up, and allow it to get all its nutrients that the tree gave to this fruit. So we can give it back its own nutrients, and that's a great way to help your young trees. If it's a citrus tree, fruit tree like stone fruits, cherries and peaches and plums and nectarines, all those type of fruit, whether it is pomegranates, whether it's figs, whether it's passion fruit, mangoes, soursop, edemaltes, all those type of fruits. Whatever fruit you have, you can always give it back its own nutrients by trench composting. Like I just said, digging a hole, put it in there and let it be. So in the next episode, guys, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to give it back its nutrients and allow it to recover. So one of the things I am going to do is put the shade cloth back on here, because it is going to be extremely hot and I want the tree to not distress any longer.